Hi guys, it's Nick here. It's the evening of Monday the 29th of July 2024. I had this dream last night, so the evening and night through from Sunday the 28th of July 2024 through to the morning of Monday the 29th of July 2024. So the prophetic part of the dream as regards World War III, which I'm about to get into, was preceded by three important parts, which were the Holy Spirit basically guiding me through some challenges in my own life, but that's, personal stuff that's in any case irrelevant to this channel and beyond its scope. And I'm just saying that. So I was dreaming about other stuff, and God was showing me and leading me some stuff and, helping me out. And then, so there were three of those sections, and then it switched. I'll get straight into it. And I was shown, it was very interesting. Last night, I watched a YouTube video about how Russia and China just did a combined flyover of their strategic bombers. They flew their respective types of strategic bombers. I forget what the models were, but there were Russian strategic bombers and Chinese strategic bombers together flying near the coast of Alaska. And this is kind of a show of force and saber rattling and just saying, we're not scared of you. Just saber rattling, intimidating, kind of posturing. We're seeing more and more of this. This is escalating as it said in the Bible. War. You shall see wars and rumors of wars. We're seeing more of this kind of stuff. And I watched this article, this news broadcast on YouTube from an American mainstream media news outlet, and they were talking about it. And I think they interviewed an American military general who was talking about how it was very concerning because, he was speaking about how there's a very high level of active military cooperation between Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea. For example, North Korea is sending artillery shells they didn't mention this in this video, but by train, in hundreds of thousands to Russia to use in Ukraine. They did mention in this video that Iran now has factories in Russia to create the Shahed drones, which Russia is using to attack Ukraine. And another example of this cooperation is that apparently now China is actively helping to increase Russian industrial output of tanks. I think they mentioned a few other things like artillery guns and artillery shells. They definitely mentioned tanks. So China's vast manufacturing base, they're working together so that Russia can produce more tanks. So, Russia and China have openly talked about how there's going to be no limits, quote, to their military cooperation. So that was the overt part, right? That's what we're seeing up in the skies. Everyone can see those planes. The US, military obviously saw those planes. It was meant to be seen. There was purpose in it. It's like saber rattling, intimidating, showing, show of force. And then the US military responded. I think they sent up jets. So that happened in Alaska. So in the dream last night, God showed me via the Holy Spirit. What she showed me was initially a view of a YouTube video similar to the one I watched last night. The American journalist who was speaking was an African American man who would have been in his late 40s. And it just looked like one of these mainstream media, uni party kind of fake news type channels. They're all the same, right? Like left and right at this point. I don't see too much difference. I would definitely say it's a mistake to fall into the polarization of very liberal or very, very conservative. It's more about good versus evil at this point, and freedom versus collectivism. Fascism and communism are just various versions of collectivism or tyranny. And, that has its origins and spiritual foundations and Satanism and evil. And, so it's not so much left versus right. It's more of a trick to get us fighting each other. It's more good versus evil. So, and the whole left right thing is just divide and conquer stuff. And we see this in the US now increasingly, in New Zealand, Australia, the UK. It's become increasingly apparent that it's a uni party than that the left whole right thing, like the They're two wings on the same bird, and the bird's corrupt. So that the solutions aren't political, they're spiritual. But so regardless of the kind of channel I was watching, whether it was a left-leaning or a right-leaning one, yeah, there was this message being put out that I'd watched on the YouTube video last night. And the guy was talking, yeah, just about the same thing that I'd seen about how Russia and China were putting strategic bombers that flew near Alaska, and the US had sent up jets to kind of intercept them, and the meanings of this and the ramifications of this. But then what? So that's in the north of the Eastern Pacific, right? But then what the Holy Spirit did, like zip, it pulled its view down, and I was given a view of off the coast of California, between roughly San Francisco, so the central part of the Californian coast, and more like San Diego in the south, right down to the border with Mexico. So the southern half of the Californian coastline. Okay, this is where it gets crazy. This is what God showed me that we're not seeing on the TV. So that the stuff in the skies was overt. This was covert, okay? I was shown a view as if on Wikipedia in the format they have for articles where they list, the number of vessels engaged in military battles on the sea or in naval fleets. There's a certain format that they list the names of ships or submarines in, and the information was given to me as if it was in a Wikipedia article, and I was shown. The Holy Spirit showed me a list of Russian submarine names, and it was so long that the list went off the page. I could only see 9, but it was given to me that there were 12 to 16 in total, and I could see various names. One of them was Kamchatka. I looked that up today. It's not listed publicly, and what I was shown, these submarines, they were the huge Russian submarines. They were snooping around the Pacific right off the coast of California, and they were spying on the US and collecting information, doing surveillance. Some of these submarines were enormous. I knew, and it was given to me in the dream, that some of them had the capability to launch nuclear missiles, possibly like even deploy troops. People had prophetic dreams about troops and tanks coming out of submarines in the future. I don't know about that, but certainly some of them were very large, and they had the capability to launch nuclear ICBMs. I was shown that they're there right now, and the US military has no idea. They don't even know they're there at all. And it's because the Russian technology is so much further ahead of what we know, and it's so advanced. So they've got much more advanced technology than we're aware of. They're snooping around in such a way because of this that, we don't even know they're there. And then again, it was being shown that I was given that name Kamchatka. I looked it up. There is no publicly listed Russian naval vessel or submarine, the Kamchatka. This is God symbolically showing me that Russia has many, many submarines, and the numbers are much larger than we know about. So the numbers are greater than we know, their technology is more advanced than we know, and their tactics, by way of partly of their more advanced technology, are more advanced than we know. And they're spying on us right now. And yeah, the US military, they have big military bases, in San Diego on the coast of California. And I got shown they're there right now, and the Americans had no idea. And I'll refer you guys to a video in the description box below from Katie Humphries in New Zealand, who had a similar dream where she was shown Chinese submarines snooping around in Cook Strait off the waters of New Zealand, and the New Zealand military similarly had no idea. I mean, this is concerning. So it's just what God showed me. That's just what God showed me last night. Pretty mind blowing. I do believe those dreams were prophetic. I do believe they are from God. Please refer to the description and the disclaimer. Please refer to the disclaimer in the description box below. Hope that's of some value. Thank you, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.